Cheetah Mama, and welcome to my video. So today I just want to let you guys know that be nice to everybody everywhere. There's this YouTuber and I love when she says that because it's so true. Be nice to everybody everywhere, okay? And respectful of everyone, their opinions, what they've been through. You know, it's kind of hard, to see things from another person's perspective. But in life, I can tell you that you can get very far with empathy. One of the jobs I had at one point talked about empathy extensively. They were like getting us through classes so that we can know what empathy is, how to display empathy. And so like now when I look back on it, it's not only good in the workplace to display empathy, it's good in general to display empathy. And a lot of people lack empathy depending on, your mental conditions, or depending on maybe like your life struggles or what you went through or didn't go through. But empathy always just starts with when people tell you a story, and it might be sad or devastating or whatever, and they literally are pouring their heart out to you, crying and tears. Empathy is kind of like, so sympathy is like, oh, I feel bad for them, like, oh, such a sad story. Empathy is like, oh my God, like putting yourself in that person's shoes, okay? This isn't a this isn't a lesson on empathy. This is actually I just kind of want to talk about like how I struggle with the anxiety and what anxiety means to me. I'm not sure if, the reason I'm saying empathy is because a lot of people only look at it. They can listen to a story and be like, oh, that's sad, you know what I mean? But if you imagine that this is you and your day-to-day struggles, just imagine how devastating it would be. So living with my struggle of anxiety, I believe that my anxiety started at a young age because, I'm youngish. But I think that my anxiety started at a very young age because I was always like picked on and bullied, and I always had figures in my life such as, parent figures, or, people at the child care places, the daycare staff, teachers who like hated me and who were bullying me, who were mean to me. I don't know what it was. I don't know why, who, what, when, where, why. I can say that I grew up in San Antonio. I moved to Houston. When I moved to Houston, I went to a ghetto school. At this ghetto school, well, that's not the first school I went to. I went to like normal schools, I think in Houston. And then I gradually ended up going to a ghetto school. And at the ghetto school, it's like, I guess I didn't fit in because I talked the way I talk now. I wasn't like, yo, girl, let me tell you, like, da-da-da-da-da-da, get your hair done. What? I don't know, okay? And if you talk like that, that's your prerogative, priority, whatever. I don't know. That's, your thing. And I'm not discrediting the way that you talk, but I talk the way that I talk. And so I was bullied a lot. They thought I was whitewashed, They thought that I was too white, or, yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then it's weird because when you go to an all-white school, they say the same type of shit. Like, you're too white. Like, you talk white. You act white. Then I also had a problem with fitting in because I had a stepdad who was kind of narcissistic. It's like I felt like I needed to be perfect all the time. I never wanted to get in trouble. So I always just kind of like was robotic-ish when I dealt with people. I'd be like, oh, hi, how are you? And I would kind of just keep this persona about me because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get in trouble. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be a good girl because I don't want to get in trouble because he might find out about it, or I might get in trouble. I just like feared getting in trouble. Anyways, let's start with when I first realized that I had anxiety. So I believe it was when, okay, So a lot of you know that my daughter was molested by her grandpa. And I think that this is the point in my life where my anxiety became really hectic for me. I remember one day I called my ex-husband up and I'm like, hey, I need to pick up my daughter. And I need to pick up my daughter. I'm on my way. We had an arrangement where he wouldn't be on child support. He would keep her 2 weeks. I'd keep her 2 weeks, and we'd supply what she needed in both households. So it wasn't abnormal for her to be over there, but I always just told him to keep an eye on her, and to not let her around her grandpa by himself, because her grandpa seemed kind of off at times. And so my ex-husband literally tells me, oh um oh god, I was driving to go pick her up, and I'm like, hey, I need to pick up my daughter. He's like, oh, she's with my dad. Oh, he goes, oh, she's with my dad. And I started crying. I was like, why would you do that? It's like, I remember in that moment, it's like I knew that he did something to her, and that his dad did something to her. And the reason why is because his dad has always seemed off. You can never accuse someone of being a pedophile, but he was always off to a certain extent to where I felt uncomfortable, which is why I told him, don't let her be by herself. And he claims, well, I was at work, so he had to watch her. And I'm like, you left my baby with this man who at one point told you that our daughter was sexy at 1 year old? I started bawling, crying, you guys. I couldn't breathe. I was like, I was having a straight up, like, I don't know what the hell I was having, but I was freaking the fuck out. And I ended up going to pick her up, and it just seemed really off. The grandpa comes and puts her in the back seat of my car, and my daughter just kind of starts crying, like, and not like crying like, like, but you could see tears coming down her eyes. And he's like, it's okay, Fancy, I'll talk to you another day, and kind of kissed her on the cheek and stuff like that. But we ended up finding out, like, the next day she could not walk straight. So she was walking pretty good at the age that she was. She was 2 when this happened, and she couldn't walk straight. She was like, and she was going like every time she would take a step. And I asked her, like, what happened? And she's like, Grandpa bumped my pee-pee. I was just completely shocked by what I heard come out of a 2-year-old's mouth, that I literally, like, lost my shit. I'm telling you guys, like, in that moment, like, just imagine your child telling you something like that, and you tried your hardest to protect them from things like that. So I feel like my anxiety started to flare up at that point. From that point on, I definitely had anxiety. I started to go crazy, you guys. I would be at work and be talking to myself on the, there was like a, I don't know what you call it. It's like a, we would be in a call queue. I was working at a call center, and I would be talking to myself while I was waiting on the queue, because I was so confused and I didn't know how to process any of these feelings or emotions. Ever since that moment, I have woken up terrified, woken up scared, woken up panicked, had trouble sleeping, had trouble eating, had trouble gaining weight. I think at that time I was like 100 pounds, and I desperately wanted to gain weight, and I could not gain weight. I was so scared to let her go anywhere with anybody. I think that my anxiety really took a turn for the worse at that point. So me living with anxiety is kind of like just always feeling fearful. Always, like, I have this fear over me where I'm like, I start to, like, feel my heart rate going up. I start to sweat a little bit. I start to feel like, what's going on? I need to get somewhere. I need to relax. I need to calm down. Like, ever since that moment. And from that moment on, it's not like things got easier. From that moment on, it's like I looked at this situation, then I ended up losing my place. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. I didn't have like nothing. I had to move back in with my mom, and I had moved out for like at least a good, like, I left when I was like 17. I moved back in with her, I think, at 21, 22. So I was gone for a while. You know what I mean? I got into very abusive relationships with people. I just wanted to be loved at that point. I did not know how to feel. My whole life, I tried really hard to be so perfect and really hard not to like make any type of expression on my face, because it was like, if my stepdad see me and I made any type of expression, why are you looking like that? You better take that. Why are you looking like, you know, and turn into this big old thing to where I was just scared. You know, I was just scared to find myself and be who I was. So from there, I was in lots of abusive relationships. I even got with a stalker, and I think I've been definitely with a narcissist multiple times. Anxiety for me feels like I'm about to die. It feels like the world is about to collide. It feels like I cannot breathe. It feels like I'm losing myself. I can't think straight. I can't do normal tasks. I can't just go to the grocery store and have this anxiety come over me for whatever reason. Maybe someone looks at me weird or looks at my daughter weird, and I get this anxiety that comes over me where all my hairs on my arm stands up, and my heart is racing through my chest, like hurting at times, sometimes hurting. I can't breathe. I'm like, you know, and it's like I'm trying to keep my cool, but it's like I'm thinking about whatever this is triggering this anxiety for me, and I'm like forgetting to pay for stuff, forgetting to grab things. I'm like thinking about something else that's completely off of the task that I'm doing at hand, and I fuck up the task that I'm doing. It's like sometimes my anxiety to me is scary and it's annoying, and it's like I wish that I could just walk into a store and be a normal person. I wish that I can see people that I've known and not freak out, or something might not happen the way that I expect it to happen, or maybe I'm trying to hurry up and rush out the place, or maybe I'm anticipating a phone call or something. But it's like whatever it is that's triggering this anxiety, it's like I would give anything to walk into a store like a normal human being and not have to feel terrified that someone's gonna steal my daughter, that I'm gonna run into her dad, that I'm gonna run into my stalker, run into some crazy ex, that someone's gonna kill me. It's like I'm always in fear. I'm in fear at my own house. I'm like, oh my God, is there like a little crack in my window where someone could be possibly looking at me? When I park my car, I'm like, oh my God, is anyone following me? Is anyone coming? Is someone after me? I mean, it's like living with anxiety means like no peace for me. And sometimes I cannot sleep. Sometimes my anxiety gets so bad that I'm constantly rethinking about a thought over and over and over again, obsessively thinking about a thought over and over and over again. And I end up staying up till 8 o'clock in the morning. And even past 8 o'clock in the morning, I cannot sleep. I end up staying up the whole entire 24-hour day period. And I end up getting sick, throwing up. Sometimes my anxiety can come from, it's like no specific reason for why it comes. It just comes, you know. Sometimes it comes from the stupidest, slightest things, and I feel like I can't control it. You know what I mean? Like today, for example, I was really upset, you know, with someone in my life, and I just obsessively kept thinking about how upset I was, and I never got the clarification that I needed for the situation. So I'm like obsessively thinking about it, and it's causing me to feel upset, and it's causing me to feel mad, and my body just takes control and gives me this anxious episode where I cannot think right. I'm not consciously there at times. My head's somewhere else when people are talking to me. Like, they're talking to me and I'm looking at them, but I'm not listening to them. I'm somewhere else. My brain snaps. I'm out of there. You know what I mean? I can't sometimes feel certain parts of my body. It's like I freeze up. I become like a deer in the headlights in certain situations, like, you know, and it sucks. It really, really sucks to live that way, you know. Dealing with being someone with anxiety is horrible for me. Everything is horrible. Everything is a possibility for something to go wrong. It's like, sometimes I would wish that I can just like be calm and chill and not feel like something's always gonna probably go wrong or something could possibly go wrong. And I stress over something that hasn't even happened yet or might not ever happen, but I stress over something that's like, that could possibly happen, if that makes sense. It's like, anxiety is just, God, it is fear. It is fear to the 10th power. And to feel it so constantly, it's like my body just feels like I have to resort to being anxious and to overly think things until I can find some type of positive solution in my mind. If I can't come up with an answer for whatever it is, it's like I obsessively think about it. Anxiety for me is just horrible. You know, it makes me procrastinate on things. It makes me not get things done that I should get done. It makes me tired when I shouldn't be tired, when I should be productive. I don't know how anxiety is for everyone, but anxiety for me has taken up majority of my life. And I'm not completely healed. I have gone to counseling, and counseling has significantly helped, especially with my depression. But it's still a constant work in progress. I have had anxiety for years and years and years. And, you know, with something that you've had for so long like that, it's like you can't just go to counseling and then it's going to get better. It's like you go to counseling, you get the help you need, you work at it, and it's a constant work in progress. I know that I'm not done yet, but anxiety for me sucks. And I need it gone, you know? And I'll probably make some more episodes on anxiety because I feel like we should spread awareness for this. You know, I have a friend that always gets panic attacks. I mean, it's like we need to spread awareness, you know. We need to get to the root of the problems here. Anxiety is not a good mental disorder to live with, because you are constantly second guessing and questioning almost everything, like anything that you can think of, everything. You question your relationship, you question your child, you question if your child's gonna kill you, you know, because you watch all these, you know, movies. You question, I mean, I'm not saying everyone's anxieties to that extent, but my anxiety is I don't really trust any situation. Everything I need to be on alert, because if something happens, I can't be too relaxed. I can't be too relaxed, because if something were to happen, it's my fault. And I feel like I need to be on guard at all times. I need to have everything exactly lined up and be in this mode of attack just in case I get, you know, attacked. So it's not cool. Let me know what you guys use for your anxieties. I hope that this helps in some way. I'll be coming out with more videos on anxiety, because in this moment I am constantly still working on my anxieties, so we could work at it together. My anxiety is a lot better. It's significantly better. But I mean, hell, there's still so much room for improvement. There's so many areas of opportunity. So if you guys know of anything that you can help in the comment section, please put what we can do about this anxiety. Please put your experiences. Let's come together and try to work on this. Let's try to work on our anxiety issues and become a better version of ourselves. I love you guys, and y'all have a great day.